I think it is okay.
just it. This side. Just this side. नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है हम क्या हो रहा है। नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत। जस्ट मिनट, क्या हो रहा है। नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है हमारे चैनल थिंक टैंक इंडिया पर। थिंक टैंक इंडिया पर आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं जिस टॉपिक पर, वो टॉपिक है द आदिपुरुष डिबेट। अभी आदिपुरुष जो फिल्म आए है, इसको लेके बहुत ही चर्चे में है ये फिल्म, क्योंकि इसमें रामायण पर आधारित है ये फिल्म बोला जा रहा है। लेकिन जो बातें सुनाई दे रहे हैं कि इस फिल्म के रामायण को बहुत ही बुरी तरह से इसको तोड़ मरोड़ दिए गए, बोला गया जा सकता है हैम्पर किए गए। रावण को जिस तरह से दिखाया गया वो किसी अफगानी तालिबानी इस तरह से लग रहे हैं। रावण की जो थियरी हम जानते हैं रावण से जैसे नहीं लगते हैं। और इस बारे में बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ दो गेस्ट मौजूद है। फेमस इंडोलॉजिस्ट ललित मिश्रा जी। ललित जी, आपको हमारे चैनल में फिर से स्वागत है। और अनिमित्र चक्रवर्ती, जो बंगाल वॉलेंटियर्स के जनरल सेक्रेटरी है और फिल्म रिव्यू भी करते हैं। अनिमित्र जी, आपको भी मेरे चैनल पे स्वागत है। वेलकम टू थिंक टैंक इंडिया। तो माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यस,
I just said thank you. Thank you.
मेरा ललित जी से फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, व्हाई आदिपुरुष मूवी क्रिएटेड सो मच कंट्रोवर्सी? What is your opinion about Prabhas as Rama and Saif Ali Khan as Ravana in this movie?
See, the director, the movie's director, and the dialogue author, dialogue writer, they both have did a blunder in this movie. Adi Purus, the blunder begins with its very name. The name Adi Purus was never used for denoting the Ramayana or even denoting the life of Rama, Bhagwan Rama, the Lord Rama. So Adi, who is our Adi Purus? We all know that in Hinduism, the Adi Purus is our Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. He is our Adi Purus. So, but because of lack of knowledge and more of ignorance, he used the term Adi Purus, which should be used for the Swayambhuva Manu, for Rama. Rama is in, I think, 36th or 37th generation of Manu. So Bhagwan Ram was never called Adi Purus in Hinduism or our Hindu tradition. So first thing, the name violates the very much sanctity of the tradition. So that is the one point. Second is, obviously they were not well read. The work kind of work they were claiming to be in a mission mode, they were not doing the proper study and research. That's why the whole thing was created. Secondly, I think their commitment to do a quality work was missing in their own psychology. They are within their heart not committed, and this lack of commitment created lack of commitment caused them to do a very superficial job, lack of seriousness also. So so many things resulted in a very superficial job, and they treated the entire story like a comic, like a comic book, a 3D comic book, which were coming in Indian market during 1990s. So this is what we have seen in the name of Adi Purus, or the modern retelling of Ramayana on the silver screen. So this is what we have seen everywhere. There is an issue, whether it's dialogue, whether it's the texture, whether it is the story, whether it is the VFX or the visuals. Everywhere there is an issue. So hundreds of the issues we can count. Although 5 dialogues were made popular, but even I tell you certain things. I was going through the previous interviews which they had before the first release of the teaser last year, December or November 22. So before that, certain interviews they did. In that, particularly one interview which was published in Hindustan Times, it was of Saif Ali Khan. So Saif Ali Khan in that interview was saying that we are attempting to make Ravan more human. He said these are the lines. He wanted to make Ravan look more human. So if they are making, who are they to make to look Ravan more human? When we have a scripture before us, we have a history before us. So they wanted to change this narrative. I think that was running in the back of their mind, and so many other things were going. So I think the real director is somebody else. They were controlled by some other thought leaders, or the ideological masters who were behind them, and they wanted to do the Islamization of this our Ramayana. So this whole thing was running in things somewhere in their subconscious mind, which has resulted in this blunder. I am very happy that Indian people have solely entirely rejected their narrative. Otherwise, this could have set a very devastating standard before our next generation, which they were saying they are making this movie for the next generation of our children. So I'm very happy that it is rejected outright by our Indian population. This is my view. One more thing I would like to add, Dr. Vasudha, that Ramayana is a very sensitive scripture for us. Post independence era, the first book which was banned by Nehru regime was a satire on the Ramayana. So there was a book called Ramayana Retold, or Rama Retold. Let me check what is its name. So yes, it was Rama Retold. It was a satire written by one of the our uh, churchman who subscribed to leftist Marxist ideology, made this satire. So see, he used same methodology. He was praising Ramayana, then suddenly he was ending up making satire, insulting conclusion out of a normal greatness narrative of normal greatness. So everywhere he starts well, seems like he's praising Ramayana culture, life of Ramayana itself, and then suddenly he's coming down to a very bad very bad conclusion, giving indigestible conclusions, which was very insulting to a reader, his faith. So that was the first book which was banned by Nehru regime. And right now, we see after so many years, around 50, 60 years, we see the same thing. Though it is not banned, and our Congressy and leftist friend, they are kind of supporting the movie. But in 1950s, when Nehru banned, they all were, supporting the ban. Now, a contrary thing happened. Now they are supporting the, continuation of the movie. They were praising the producer, director, and the dialogue writer. So this is how we see the double stand or the contrary stand taken by our scholars. This is all what I have to say in answer to your first question.
Animitra, my question to you, Monad Muntasir and Raut at last ready to change the controversial dialogues of Adipurush. What is your opinion about that?
Well, before anything, I must say that Lalit is a very nice man. He is a gentleman. And since I am a very bad man, and for being a nice man, he has said it is a blunder. And to me, it's a blasphemy. It's a profanation. Anyone who dares to temper the storyline of Ramayana, the sensitivity, the and the religion, the dharmic chetana. I'm saying this is dharmic. It's not religious, it's a dharmic chetana. We have been showing our complete submission to Ramayana for thousands of years. It has been the guideline of India. In so many languages, Ramayana have been written. As far as Bengali is concerned, I can't even name how many books are there of in Bengali and written by different brilliant authors. And Ramayana happens to be, once upon a time in Bengal, Ramayana happened to be the first lesson that used to be taught to the students in the schools and to the children in the houses. And all these things does do reflect that Ramayana is a part of our soul. So a team of persons who have no shraddha, no respect to the original treatise of Ramayana, to the concept of Sisi Ramachandra, the Maryada Purushottam, the sixth avatar of Vishnu, through which we do respect him, do venerate him on a regular basis. This team has no idea of all these things, and for all these reasons, if now they are ready to change the dialogues, what does it mean? That means they have realized they have made a mistake, and now changing the dialogues, they are going to make a severe mistake. They are going to change the dialogues to appease whom? The Hindus. We are already enriched. And not the dialogues only.
I
Not the
agree.
dialogues only. The sense. The way Hanuman ji is saluting Mata Sita by keeping his fist on the chest. This is being found in the American culture. The soldiers do express their loyalty to the nation when they are going for war. And Hanumanji is expressing the same salutation to Mata Sita. What's the nonsense is this? My question is very, very, very simple to the entire team of directors and actors and everything. Do they know what's Ramayana? What's the significance of Ramayana to the entire Indian tradition? It doesn't speak of the modern India or the post 1947 India. Ramayana is inseparably related to the traditions, to the conscience of India for thousands and thousands of years, perhaps from uh, the centuries long back, when the histories have never written even. From that time on, this story, this saga, this chronicle has been going on, and with reverence. So my point of view is very simple. This is not only a blunder, this is a profanation, and had it been any other country, unlike the Hindus, they would have been taken to the firing squad already. They would have been taken to the firing squad already. And so now changing the dialects is nothing but a bullshit. They are trying to compromise, and we, the Hindus, are not ready to make any compromises. That's all.
Yeah.
ललित जी आपका क्या राय है इस बारे में अनिमित्र जी जो बोले
I agree with him to a greater extent, and I endorse his views or lines also. But think there is an agency also involved here in this whole thing. That is
Certainly.
called
Great. Great.
this film certification board. Right? That is also involved. So, and these people, those who are on that board, are recruited by our system. So, what is their responsibility? Movies after movies are coming which are presenting Hinduism in a very bad light, but that body is not doing its part. So what is there in that board which does not let them work, or which inspires them to work against our land's culture, India's culture, our own narrative, our own scriptures, or the movies which should promote our culture? They work against it. You remember when this movie, the Kashmir Files, was getting released? So they called Israeli director. I think that was a director. He was a director. He was called to make a speech, and he made a very a speech which was completely against the Kashmiri Pandits of Kashmir. He spoken against the victims of the Kashmiri terrorism. So how that person was called in with due respect by these people, those who are supposed to be our own people, because they are recruited by our own regime. So that is also a question mark on this body, what the body does, what kind of screening it does, Why it passes the movies without any cut or without any recommendation, or even why they have not come up with a standard, SOPs. When somebody wants to make a movie with respect to the cultural traditions, or our scriptures, or in a historical context, so what they should follow. So we as a nation do not have a guideline which so we should have. And the body which is this, the film certification body, they are supposed to do that. So I would not give them, I would not let them scot free. They are also responsible for coming off such movies. If once they become strict, I do not know whether they are scared of criticism by the left liberal groups or that lobby. So that's why they pass the movie, and the battle is fought on the social media. As a result, we have to fight in Twitter, we have to fight on WhatsApp or Facebook. Our Indian people are fighting the battle, but this body who has got the mandate, they are doing nothing for such movies.
सर मुझे फिर से आपसे ही पूछ रही हूँ, हिंदू आस्था का हट करना क्या लिबरल्स का ओनली एजेंडा है?
You asking me or asking Mr.
आपको ही पूछ रही हूँ, ललित जी से ही पूछ रही हूँ.
Like, see, if you see not only such movies, if you screen the web series as well, which are released in past 2 and 3 years. So if you see, there is a concerted attempt to put our beliefs, our customs in a bad light. Yesterday only, I think I was watching a movie. In totality, the movie was good. It was against the terrorism, but it was promoting. There was a Brahmin who was projected here in this movie, and yes, so he was a committed, the side character was a committed father. So he was telling how with his child, the child was in army. So when the soldier was a child, so how his father took him to eat non-veg. And what non-veg, this chicken, what is called, I'm vegetarian, so I don't know. So this chicken, or what is called, so the
Chicken
so
tikka.
chicken
Chicken
tikka.
tikka.
Chicken tikka, right? So intentionally, that was inserted in that particular frame. A Brahmin father taking his 6 years old child to eat together a chicken tikka. That this story was not demanding. Similarly, he was disrespecting the sacred thread, our Janeu, and so many other things. These masala items were inserted in the that web series. So I was surprised why this intensity. There is an indirect way of messaging you. If you do this, you are a backward, you belong to a backward community. Your faith, your belief, your customs are backward. And what is the modern? Then the child takes father to a pizza shop, or a cake cutting ceremony for the birthdays, etc. So though these are the common things, but projecting it in a specialized manner, like it attracts your attention, it shows there's some agenda. Similarly, a prayer is required. So there is another scene in the Kashmir when it comes to make a prayer for security, or success in the mission. So they are going to a mazar. So this is how this indirect messaging is happening. It is a part of a narrative. Sometimes I call it a intellectual jihad. This intellectual jihad is going on here in India by certain group of intellectuals. So I'm not surprised if this team who has made this movie Adipurush, because you asked earlier in your first question, that's Ravan and the Hanumanji, they all have got a texture of Islamic civilization. They carry that texture in their character. So why this is happening? They are not doing. They are, I mean, in other territories, other cultures, they are not projecting their heroes as Indian hero, or the hero which is born in Indian culture. But our people are doing that. So it's a hidden agenda which is running in our silver screen. Yeah.
Animitra, what is your opinion about this?
Well, I do endorse religious comments, frankly. There's no doubt to it. This is a nefarious agenda to dismantle the Hindus. And this is not new. For the 50 or 60 years, the film society movements and many other things across India, particularly the lefts have always targeted the Hindus. They have tried to put us in the very bad light as a castes, as persons with nefarious agendas, the persons who know only to persecute the Dalits and everything. But, and suddenly, we the Hindus are very, very anti democratic. If I do remember, if Basudadi also remembers, when we were quite young at the time, in the 1980s, uh, in Calcutta, there was a shooting of a cinema called City of Joy by Dominic Lapierre. Okay. And the whole shooting set was devastated by the CPM cadres. So CPM considered it as a picture that was going to put Calcutta in a very, very bad light before the public, before the entire globe, and the whole CPIM went on a rampage. The shooting set was devastated. Lapierre was arrested, put in the lockups and everything, all the nasty things. So when they find their interests are being attacked, they can go for the violence. But when we do speak of our own rights, of our own cultures, when we do speak that my values is in the attack, that is considered as undemocratic. Fine, we are undemocratic. It doesn't matter. To preserve my religious vibrancy, to preserve my dharma, I can go to any path. For that, this doesn't matter, to me at least. Well, and there is a problem with the Hindus as well. This is our mentality, it's problem with us. We love to be lovable people. We love to be peaceful people. We love to evade all hassles. We love to live in pieces. We love to live in any tension-free environment where there shall be where everything shall be is normal around us, and we are going to enjoy the life. That's the problem. There's a genetic disease among the Hindus. We the Hindus. And this is giving the leniency to all these persons and all the school of thoughts that are planning against the Hindu notions for years. What Lalitji has said, and I do endorse his comments frankly and beautifully, that Hanumana and Ravan that have been portrayed, it seems that they are from the cavalry of either Nadir Shah or from the Muhammad Ghori. They do seem like that. Where is the erudition of Ravana? Where is the reverence that was reflected from the eyes of Hanumanji to Mother Sita? And as far as that hero of Ramachandra's profile has made it, I think I'm very sorry to say that he neither reflects Ramachandra not any other person, but is something of a Hollywood multi-star action film packed hero. I think he seems to be more of the 300. Many of us have witnessed a part of the cinema called 300. It's a very world-famous film. The first appearance of him appeared to me that I am seeing the Temistocles of 300 once more. There is a Shraddha. When he sings Sita, it's saying that he is delivering a dialogue. It's a fake dialogue. It's a hollow dialogue. His personal thoughts, the way he was missing Sita, it says found in the original scriptures of Ramayana. He's not weeping, but Ramchandra is feeling the absence of Mata Sita, his wife, on a daily basis, daily hour. So what is that Ramchandra to us? We do call him as Maryada Purushottam since what? Since why? He is Ekam Patni Pratam. Even in all hardships of life, Ramchandra had only one woman in his entire thought and conscience, and that was his wife Sita. For that reason, he is called Ekam Patni Pratam. And several other virtues are within him that makes to him to us the Maryada Purushottam. This Maryada Purushottam word was coined thousands of years back, not 1 or 2 centuries back. My answer is very simple. Just a minute, I was just today or tomorrow, yes, just yesterday I was just going through report that one of the dialogue writers of this film is a noted Hindutvavadi. I do not know how much Hindutvavadi is this, or what's the notion or the definition of Hindutva to him. My answer is very simple. This is a ploy to denigrate Hinduism. This is a dangerous maneuver to put the entire Hindu Dharma in an extremely bad light before the entire global audience. And what Lalit just said just now, I do agree with it completely. There is also a problem with this film certification board. See, Ramayana is a very sensitive issue. When anyone is trying to do any such picture movie on any supernatural beings or Vishnu or Mishra, Parvati, and anything, or even of any other religion, the concerned pandits must be contacted before anything. They must be asked, invited to see the first screening before the official release. And I am confident of the fact the certification board had done nothing of this sort, since they do not care of the Hindus. And I must tell all the audience, especially the Hindus, now see what's our situation and position is in entire India. It's told that we are in the majority in this country, but we have turned into the hapless and the hopeless minority in this country, for which our religious views, our shraddha, our tradition doesn't hold a glass of water even. It has become valueless since we have become more lenient than that should be. Our leniency, our soft nature has ruined ourselves, has ruined our culture, our language, our tradition. Now see what's the reflection, and the reflection of this can be found in the screening of Adipurush.
Yes, exactly. I would like to add also a few things. We have also another, disease that we are having, which is, uh, discrediting our own credit. Like for yoga, you will see our people feel great in saying that yoga is not just of Hindus, it belongs to the world, it is of everybody. So it is Hindu minus worlds. Yoga is now today, it's of entire world's heritage minus Hindus heritage. So this kind of greatness, which we carry within our psyche, that is happening here in India. It is happening for many decades, but it is on rise. Even yesterday, when the yoga day was getting celebrated, so our journalists, our thinkers, those who were commenting on televisions, our intellectuals, everybody was saying yoga is not only of Hindus; it is of everybody in the entire world. Why it cannot be Hindus as well as the entire world? So we are not thinking as a global leader, as a culture that is supposed to lead the world tomorrow. So our thought is not going or reaching up to that stature. This is another problem. Everything we want to relinquish just to want some goodwill from the other camp. So this is happening, and for that we people need to rethink how they want to present themselves in this age of conflict of cultures.
ललित जी, my last question to you. एक्सप्रेशन के आजादी के नाम पर क्या हिंदू आस्था को हर्ट करना मोदी विरोध का एक नया रूप है?
मैं क्या सुन नहीं पाया आपका व्हाट मोदी इरा?
नहीं नहीं, एक्सप्रेशन के नाम पर हिंदू विरोध करना, हिंदू आस्था को विरोध करना, क्या अब मोदी विरोध का एक नया रूप है लिबरल्स का?
एक्चुअली ये हमारे जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, इट हैज इट्स रूट इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इटसेल्फ. आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज नॉट फुली सेक्युलर. इट इज टुवर्ड्स माइनॉरिटीज. It gives unlimited rights to minorities, and then everybody takes the oath in the name of the constitution. People feel taking oath in the name of the constitution, which is not secular. It is tilted in favor of minorities. So there is a division of majority and minority that exists within the within the our constitution itself. So there is the problem, and that problem percolates at many places, at many platforms. You can watch it in certain decisions of our Supreme Court. You know it that there is a what is called there is a law which was passed, I think, 1990s, after the demolition of that Babri Mosque, Babri Mosque case. So it prohibits Hindus reclaiming their religious places, the act of religious places, something that is named. So it deprives us from our own fundamental rights, from going to court for seeking justice. So this is, at every places, at every place, at various formats, this whole thing is percolating. That's why it is happening. uh, we are at now where we are witnessing the whole thing as, going or hurting Hindu sentiments, because our constitution is tilted. It does not provide us universal, what we call universal law, which is applied on every religious community or the segment.
What is your opinion, Animitra, about it?
Well, I must say that before answering this question, I would like to add something more. Now, to take me, why are the Hindus being insulted? Why? Why almost on every hour, every period we are being insulted? The answer is quite simple. We, the Hindus, do not care to read our own religious texts. We do not care. Neither we have read Shankara, nor we have cared to read even Kautilya. Why is this happening? In our Arthashastra, there is a sloka. Durjanat priyavadi cha naita vishakaranam madhutishtati jivagre hridayatu halahalam. That means, if the divisive persons praise you, don't consider this as the truth, since the dangerous ploys are going to appear after in the next. And the first sloka of Arthashastra states, अति दर्भ लंकाति माने च कौरवा अति दाने बलिंग वृद्ध सर्वमतंत गढ़िता अति सर्वत्र वर्जते. Anything excessive is dangerous. It must be shed. We have become excessively lenient since we don't want to labor. The Hindus have become the worst people who are against the physical labors. We don't want to do anything else. We want to be before the computers, with the pen drives, the social medias, everything, while the ground is being taken by the other ones. And now the second answer. I do definitely consider this move of Adipurush as an anti-Modi tyrant. Now, why? The answer is also quite simple. In the last 1 decade, the single person of Modiji has become the pivotal failure of the Hindus. Many Hindus have termed also him as the latest avatar. Well, I don't consider him as an avatar, but since he's a human being, but certainly of a great talent. So definitely, anything under the sun is political. And this political doesn't necessarily that you shall have to subscribe to any political ideology. When you are a citizen of a country, you are paying the taxes. You have to abide by the governmental rules. If you may like it or you may dislike it. And all these actions and reactions give birth to a political consciousness within you. And suddenly everything is political. And so this is a political ploy. And I do state with the strictest confidence that this Adipurush is nothing but the trailer of the next year's Lok Sabha election. The way they have tried to see how can the Hindus be disturbed, how disturbed can the Hindus be, how far Hindus should be disturbed. All these things are being tested. And if I shall be not surprised if it's found that the entire money of Adipurush has come from some Indian black sources of within the nation or something from abroad. The Hindu patience is being tested. The Hindu erudition is being tested. especially for 2006, 26, and 24 Lok Sabha posts. That is going to be the most vital election according to my knowledge and experiences in the last 50 years as far as India is concerned.
Yes, of course, the investment trail must be investigated by a competent agency. How this 600 crore rupees was amassed to make this movie, this Adipurush. That is such a huge amount. It's a many industries yearly revenue 500 or 600 crore rupees, and one movie manufacturer or the producer may not supposed to have this kind of wealth in their reach. So the trail must be investigated. There must be different kind of truth waiting for us if we do investigate it. And secondly, is he said, Mr. Chakraborty, that we people are not reading our text, but also these producers and the directors or the authors, they are also not reading. Very funny, I tell you. We have every information of Rama, how he looked. He was of medium stature, 5 feet, 5 feet 7 inch or 8 inch. That was the height. He was well built, Ajanubahu, with very large arms,
Mm,
wide chest, a very well built body, very beautiful, very decent, very calm and composed in character, in nature, and also that he was so dharravan that he was putting the Valmiki in his Ramayana says that he was putting his steps like a Gajraja, means the king of elephants. That was his gait, the way he carries himself, the how he walks. So every information is given in the Valmiki Ramayana, and he, this stupid author, the dialogue maker, Muntasir, he had not read anything. Not gone through even. So he brought this the who played this Prabhas, yeah, who played this Rama's role, Prabhas, a very tall guy who does not even remotely relate to the physical body of Lord Rama, his physique. So they have done the funny things not only in dialogue but every aspect of the movie. And this is why happening is we all know that we are not reading our books. We do not know much about what is written over there. We are literally ignorant of our own great traditions and culture. That is true. One more thing, I tell you, the debate is quite a good conversation, becoming in a form of quite good conversation. So I remember I keep telling to students and all that our Puranas, recommend three things. Whenever you go to a tirtha or the holy place, make a visit, pilgrim on a pilgrim. So you have to donate three things. One, it is must, but we are doing everything except for the must to do. Must is you have to donate one umbrella to others, those who are coming or to same place, holy place, other pilgrims. So one umbrella, one book, and one set of shoes. Three things are must to donate. But what we are doing, we are uh, rest of everything we are donating gold or money or whatever is possible, but we are not donating these three essential things. So why? Because we are not aware of, we have uh, uh, we have made a distance from our own text. That is why. And that this liberty is taken by our left friends. They are well read about their ideology, their books, they are very clear on their agenda, but we do not know. Unless we are attacked by our invaders, we never get into awareness, the state of awareness. This is what is happening. Certain remedies are required in our own end also. The lesson must be taken. It should not be a momentary reaction, what we have seen. There must be a well settled, thought process. If we are Hindu, as a Hindu, we are having this thought process then we can say that the future would be different, because they would also fear a backlash, this kind of reaction, if they violate their limit. Yeah, this is what I wanted to add.
Animitra, any comment?
No, I do completely agree to Mr. Ji. I do completely agree. What he has said is just everything. Well, if you want a comment from me, I must say that the problem lies with us, we the Hindus. The problem is within us. We try to be lenient. Why we do try to be lenient? Since we want to evade the problems. Don't want to be any problems. We don't want to have any confrontations. In spite of the fact that our religious values are being challenged for over centuries. And if this continues, I'm very sorry to say that there are more disasters are just waiting for us. So the faster we can come out of this concept of this lethargy, the faster we do try to abide by the principles that have been written in Ramayana and Mahabharata and ancient scriptures to the ideal human beings, to the ideal Hindus. That can save the nation. No nation can be saved by the lazy people, by the people who try to evade. Never defeatism or escapism has helped the humanity. And in the ancient scriptures, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, not to speak of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, to me personally, everything is nothing but a war document. If we want to know what's called a war, we must get back to those days to know what is war and what is chivalry. How should the wars be waged? How should the enemies be defeated? And if the enemies become durian, wicked, there are also ways how to treat all those wicked people. But unfortunately, we don't care to listen to us. We prefer to listen to Jack and Jean and went up the hill, but not to Panchatantra, not to Jataka tales. That's a problem with us. We do prefer to go to the abroad, to Mississippi and every other ways, but we don't prefer to go to the Char Dham. We don't prefer to go for the Tirtha, which Mishra ji has been talking a few moments back. We shall have to change our own mindset. If we can't change our mindsets, since I am stating from a state which is facing what I must say it, a crisis, a deepest crisis. We, the Bengali Hindus, for the last 75 years, have been persecuted immensely. Now we are facing a crisis of a life. We might not. What we are saying that there might not be the second generation of ours in the next 20 or 25 years. That's happening in Bengal, and that's happening also in the rest of East India. So, unless we get cautious of our own values, unless we get cautious of our own scriptures, of our own identity, none can save us from the deluge that is coming for us in the next few years. Thank you.
Correct. Dr. Vasudha, one more thing I would like to add here. So we
Definitely.
must also be aware of our contribution to the other civilizations, like Hindus' contribution to Islamic civilization. That is a key area. If we know about it, how Hindu civilization values, their knowledge system has shaped the foundation of the Islam, we can definitely control this Islamic separatism. But here in India, our intellectuals, even the left, they say that they are for the mainstreaming of any communal group or any society. They are also not doing deliberately. This has been hidden from the public sentiment and awareness. How Hinduism helped survive Islam in Arabic, in Arab, in Arabic world itself. It is well written. They have borrowed, they have taken our Sanskrit scriptures, our Ayurveda, our geometry, our trigonometry, our mathematics, got it translated into Arabic and learned from it. The astrology talks about the worship or the divine power of planets, which Islam does not believe, but they borrowed this and put it into their practice. So they have crossed their limit of their own theology. But here, because our intellectuals and the scholars are not talking about it. Our contribution to the Islam, our contribution to the Christianity, our contribution to Chinese culture, these are all kept under the carpet. That is another problem. We should regularly talk about it, make the people aware, instead of our people going for the kathas like Bhagavad. When the one speaker comes sitting in the Vyas Pita and make our audience very emotive, they start weeping, crying, shedding tears by listening the katha or Ras Leela, how Bhagwan Krishna was doing the Ras Leela. So deliberately, these emotional part is spoken from the dais of the kathas. So we have to rethink, and in place of going for the kathas, for civilizational talks. In our scriptures, there is a katha, definitely, but every katha has got the civilizational part. So we should refocus on the civilizational part of our kathas, our scriptures, etc. We must take a giant step towards the intellectual portion of our heritage. This is what I want to convey to you, and I pray to everybody, please do the kathas, do the Bhagavad, but never be limited to Raslila alone. You must also know how the Mahabharata was fought, how the battle was fought, how they have, what was their technology, what were the instrument. Mahabharata says they have got the first time, that is the first incidence, of a wheel based boat that was used in Mahabharata era. But we only know about the power of the Bhim, the magical strength of our their weapons. We do not know about the discoveries which was made, but that is also there in the Mahabharata. So we need to change our test also. We should have test for our civilizational aspect, which is there in our scriptures. Thank you. This is my uh, I wanted to convey, taking the advantage of your talk.
थैंक यू बोथ ऑफ यू। आप दोनों हमारे चैनल पे आए, इतने बेबाकी से बात की। आज इतने आज की चर्चा बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग थी, बहुत ही, हम बोल सकते हैं बहुत ही नॉलेज बेस्ड चर्चा थी आज की। इसलिए आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। हम फिर से आप दोनों का हमारे चैनल पे बुलाएंगे, और दर्शक देखते रहिए थिंक टैक इंडिया। प्लीज शेयर, सब्सक्राइब, लाइक एंड कमेंट ऑन आवर चैनल। नमस्कार।
Thank you, Dr. Basda. Thank you.
You are welcome।
Thank you to both of you.
नमस्कार।